Hey guys, this is Andy from Ironman4x45.com, also known as Ironman Andy, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Greetings and salutations. Hey guys, this is the XJ Talk Show pre-show. If you've been here before, you know the drill. Basically, we're going to play a little music, crappy music I've been told, but it's music nonetheless. It's something we can play without getting sued. And Josh will be joining us shortly, and then we will discuss what we're going to do on the show, and then get the show started. So sit back. Make yourself at home. You might want to make your presence known in our chat room. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go over to xjtalkshow.com, you'll see the video at the top and the chat room right underneath it. Just type in a name and start typing in your messages. I would start with hello. Anybody else here? So sit back, enjoy, and like I said, make yourself known in chat. Oh, and tell a friend.
To help you, just let me by your side. Don't go deeper, don't reject me. Nowhere for you to hide. Listen to me. Don't close your mind. Believe in me. I swear that despite any strife, I won't give up, it is my fate. I will not let you spoil your life. This perfect world be all you get. I pray that does, I know that cares. For you are not everyone's dream. The light of trust in my embrace. On the right side of sanity. Beware you're being pulled under. You'll soon be out of breath. Take my hand or you'll go deeper and contemplate your death. Your willingness or absence of will make the difference. I've gathered all my human force to help you save yourself. Listen to me, stay by my side, believe in me. I swear that despite any strife, I won't give up, it is my fate. I will not let you spoil your life. This perfect world be all you get. I pray that there's I know that cares. For you are not everyone's dream.
Hey, this is Tim from Jeep Tubes, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Looking for silence for
Heidi ho there, neighbor.
Howdy ho. I guess the audience doesn't like my video. Or my jokes.
So I was telling my wife today when I got home from work having dinner, I was explaining to her about your indignance at my suggestion that you would miss a potential segue.
Oh. What, the whole Lincoln soiling himself one? Yeah.
Yeah. I said, there was like a comment after the video that we did about the GM thing. And I said, it was amazing to me how well it worked in, and I was afraid Josh wasn't going to catch it. And actually, when I mentioned that to him, he's like, "What do you mean?" You could just see the look on your face. What do you mean I wouldn't catch a segue? And then I had to explain to you the one you missed just moments before, minutes ahead before that. It was a bit out there. But I thought it was funny. Well, speaking of Lincoln soiling himself.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I hadn't sure that we had milked all the poop humor out of that story, so I was just dragging it along as long as we could.
I told her I just gave up. We'll just wait until it's time to do the next segment. The next story. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, which I'm sure you don't, we're talking about the Tony and Josh show that we record every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. That you guys should tune into, because you don't know when you'll miss little gems like what Josh and I are talking about tonight.
Gems. I think we're going a little far there.
Oh, I think it's a gem. Yeah. I think it's hilarious. If I'm talking about it, it's got to be funny. So as you can see, we have new graphics tonight. This was Tammy Jeep Mama's idea. She says, why don't you idiots put something up on there to let us know it's not the regular show? I'm embellishing. She didn't say idiot.
Yeah.
She was thinking it, though. You could tell when a woman's thinking idiot, Idiot. Just like what's her name used to talk about Raymond on Everybody Loves Raymond. Idiot.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, that's why we got the little pre-show banner up, so you'll know. And if you're on YouTube watching the recorded episode, not here live, shame on you. Which, by the way, you can join us live 10 p.m. Central Time every Thursday right here, xjtalkshow.com. So anyway, this lets everybody know that this is the pre-show. This isn't the main show, and sometimes you wish it was the main show because the pre-show is better than the regular show. No, it's not true. The main show is always better, but the pre-show and post-show can be entertaining. She says in chat.
Yes.
Cheap Mama says in chat, I never, capital, all caps, never. Punt on that one. Oh, she says, no, I was not. Okay, Saga. And
it's in the show notes, just don't have it.
Will be Radio Comtech. It is...
we don't have anything from studio.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, how long did you say the Radio Comtech was?
That's what I need a system here. It is 3 minutes, 33 seconds. It's half of 666. If we play it twice, it'll be 666. Just trust me. I know it's math.
You happen to know what that's about?
No idea. No, actually, I listened to them both while I was setting stuff up. It's about radio knobs. What do your knobs do?
Oh.
And you listen for it when we're playing it, because I actually considered getting a Jimmy J.J. Walker Dynamite to play on top of it. I thought there's really not enough. There's not enough gap in there. John's like, but the Dynamite would be funny. But it would be a 1970s reference, which I think that 99.9% of the people that would get it are probably dead. And listening to this show. So welcome. You can see on the little banner there that this is the pre-show, damn it. So don't expect a lot. We'll get the show started here. Oh, gee, it's already 10 o'clock. You're late, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I was a little bit later than normal. Hey, do we have voicemails for tonight?
I knew I forgot something. Let me see what we got. Because that won't take but a moment to get put in there. Well, I don't know what Jensen's saying here. I mean, I'm looking at the text, the voice to text conversion. So I guess we'll just have to play it to find out. This music is by Tom Rapp, called "What a Jeep." Still want to get Jensen set up to do a co-host thing, so we can get everything set up for the future choke. Although I think your computer is doing pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. I've been real happy with it so far.
It'd have to be some sort of family emergency at this point. So we have a Jensen, which is only about 17 seconds, and we have a Nikki G. The Nikki G currently is 1 minute 6 seconds, but that probably will change with a bit of editing. So let me just edit this up real quick. How's my audio to you? Are you able to hear me okay?
Yeah, no, you sound fine.
Just sound a little low in my headphones.
The music is a little bit louder than you are, but I'm kind of used to that.
That's interesting. The music is about a -20, and I'm a -6.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds just the opposite from my side.
You got your headphones on backwards? That might do it.
No. Should this be plugged in?
That's what she said. Do that. That'll bring it up a little bit. I got knobs. I can turn them. Don't even have to have a reason. Oh, I didn't put anything in the show notes about the 4x4 radio network, a little promo thing, and also too.
Oh, I did get an email from you, from admin actually.
Well, I have it on the board. I just need to put it. We just need to put it in the show notes someplace to play it. And also, too, I have the new, improved, edited Paps Boys video that I'd like to throw in there. And I don't know where. Just somewhere, not at the end, up towards the front, preferably, or wherever you think's best.
Yeah, I don't. 6.5, one does another. I'd say just throw it anywhere.
Fine. If you just stick it in there, that way I'll know where to do it.
The 4x4 Radio Network promo?
Both of them. That one and the Paps Boys video. Favorites. Voicemails. I don't think I'm going to put a beep in tonight. I'm just going to play the video, play the audio. Okay, so save those out. You know you're getting good or brave when you edit audio and you don't even listen to it.
No, yeah.
I just heard Jeep Mama go, "Oh, please." Okay, so I guess we'll go with Jensen's first. That's 14 seconds. It may be something.
You're talking voicemails?
Yeah. It may be something like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And then click. Nikki G is 1:04. Okay, so I've got the Radio Comtech up. I've got episode 6 of Jeep Mama. I've got the 2 voicemails. I think we're good. I told you 3 minutes 33 seconds for the for the Radio Comtech. We have videos for both of those to play along with the audio. Okay, let me. I apologize. I do not have anything to drink here. I'm going to get me something to drink real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Otay butt wheat.
Otay.
So I wasn't sure if that Alloy USA item on the Amazon You Bought What under my name was something you put in there, or if it was left over from
I'm sorry. Yeah,
show.
that was just left. I just put that in there so that you had a format to use or follow or whatever.
Well, I'm using that one.
Okay.
Went downstairs to get me something good to drink. Looked around and went, well, screw it, and filled me up a glass of water.
Good enough, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the point goes, which is just keeping the pipes lubed, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. Hello, hello, hello. Test 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
I think you're a little louder than me. No, I guess it's about the same.
Oh, okay.
I guess
Hopefully
it depends
not
on what
too,
I'm saying.
Too terribly loud.
And
As long as I'm not distorting or anything like that.
Nah. Wouldn't tell you if you were. Let it be a surprise when you heard the podcast.
Such a pal.
What the hell? All right, so let's see. So ready for the pre-roll, and you got it in there for the mid-roll, right?
I do have. Let me double check on the pre-roll. Yes, the pre-roll and the mid-roll is both in there. Yeah.
Yeah, looks about right. Looks about midway.
Am I reading those, or are you reading those? Because this is the first show I've done with these are in there.
I would much rather you read them.
Okay.
I stumble through the. You know how I stumble through the reading stuff. Did you need a minute to read them over? I mean, you wrote them. But
no, I'm familiar.
Okay. Yeah, you should have some time there. I mean, between that and the disclaimer and the intro music and stuff, so it shouldn't be talk. All right, well, now let's get ready for the professional fade of music. Everybody ready? Well, there actually was a fade on that one.
Yeah, a little bit.
Unfortunately, I don't know why the guy wrote it this way, but it doesn't take the fade from where the volume is. It goes up to the volume that you've set the slider to, and then fades from there. It's a value add. Anyway, so that's why it got louder. All right, so let's get going. You're ready, right?
Yeah.
And don't want that one. I want this one. Yep. So we're actually going to start with you. I'll give you a countdown and let you go when you're ready. A 3, a 2. That reminds me of that Tootsie Pop commercial. A 3, a 2, a 1.
Detours USA, custom builds for various make or model of vehicle, all original designs, and all made right here in the USA. Visit detoursusa.com for more details. That's detoursusa.com.
The XJ Talk Show is for entertainment purposes only. Any advice or information provided on this show should be verified by alternative sources prior to making any changes or modifications to your vehicle. We are not experts, just people that enjoy the Jeep hobby and don't mind talking endlessly about it. P.S. We love you.
Welcome to the XJ Talk Show. You're listening to the premier podcast about Jeep Cherokees, off-road adventures, tips that you can use, and interviews with people in the off-road industry. And now, here are your hosts, Tony and Josh.
First Week in Jeep.
Oh, the Jeep Renegade. Where do I start? Well, let's go back from a little bit of history, shall we? In 2006, Jeep introduced the Compass, and later, based on the same, virtually the same exact platform, the Patriot, both with front-wheel drive and continuously variable transmissions, or CVT. They were not very well accepted by the Jeep faithful, as, well, they were lauded as being blasphemous to the brand's off-road heritage, and early sales actually lagged. At first, anyways. But the new Jeep Renegade SUV allegedly fixes those brand sins with a powertrain that is peppy, but Jeep says still achieves in excess of 30 miles to the gallon. Both, well, at least on the highway, that is. And the vehicle is allegedly rugged enough to, when it's off-road, to wear the brand's trail-rated badge. We'll see about all that. With prices starting right around $18,000, which was just confirmed this week, is for the base model, the first Italian-made Jeep should help the brand thrive in the competitive subcompact market, especially globally. Now, all of this we pretty much already know, as ever since its announcement, I've been reporting on virtually every stupid little detail of what is short for, well, what is also brilliantly named the cute Ute. Ute obviously being for short for utility, which is short for sport utility, and I would so very much like to give the person who came up with that a high five in the face with a chair.
And a shovel.
Yeah. Or a shovel, whatever you got handy. What we haven't heard, until just recently actually, was the U.S. release date for this yet another disgrace of an iconic Jeep name badge. The Renegade will be arriving in U.S. dealerships in volume, unfortunately, by the end of March, and will compete against such vehicles as the Nissan Juke, Mazda CX-3, Kia Soul, Honda CR-V, and the Chevy Trax, all vehicles which have such a lengthy off-road heritage. The front-wheel drive Renegade shifts into all-wheel drive when more traction is needed, with disconnecting all-wheel drive similar to the Jeep we all love to hate, the new Cherokee. The two powertrain options authorized for the U.S. market, because we aren't cool enough to get the diesels here in the States, both feature inline four-cylinder engines, a base 1.4-liter turbo, which makes about 160 horsepower, paired to a 6-speed manual transmission, and an optional 2.4-liter that cranks out 180 horsepower, mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. My question is, so why can't we get the higher horsepower in a stick? I think that's a good question, because I believe it needs to be answered. And as soon as the Chrysler Fiat developers pull their respective heads out of their rear ends, well, we'll be sure to ask them. The Renegade's three main trim levels, Sport, Latitude, and Limited, all come standard with front-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is a $2,000 option. The top-end Trailhawk trim excels off-road with a whopping, get this, 8.7 inches of ground clearance. In retrospect here, people, the Cherokee had a little bit more. Responsive electric steering and generous approach angles, departure and breakover angles, the Renegade Trailhawk trails only the two-door Wrangler in its capability off-road. That is, of course, only by the numbers on paper and not based in reality whatsoever. And certainly doesn't hold a candle to our XJs, which virtually beat the Renegade on almost every single category. The Trailhawk comes standard with an electronically abled crawl ratio of 20-1, enabling downhill all-wheel drive descents without the need for braking. Okay, wow, you got one semi-decent off-road feature to protect yourself from going down a hill, because if you're one of the people who's buying one of these things, you're probably the type of person who would freak out and forget where the brake pedal is when going down even the slightest of declines. What I find interesting about all this off-road Renegade talk is that there's no mention whatsoever of improved articulation over the excessively mediocre 8 inches of wheel articulation, and even then only on the Trailhawk. On pavement, the Renegade's handling is supposedly responsive, thanks in part to rigid steel construction and a, God, I hope this never fails, truly disconnected from the ground, drive-by-wire electronic steering system, because steering columns are like, so 1983. Ugh. The Renegade has only been on sale in global markets since mid-December, and even then only in select European markets. Brazilian production is slated to ramp up later this year, and obviously it's too early to tell yet how this thing is even going to sell. What's plainly obvious is that Jeep is focusing their marketing on the off-road aspect of this vehicle, what is basically a Fiat 500L with bigger tires and a pseudo-transfer case. They're hanging their hats on this, folks, as the commercial marketing approach with the new Cherokee tried an off-road angle and, well, frankly, fell flat on its face. That's why most of the Cherokee commercials you see now are primarily in cityscapes.
Yeah,
Does GM... Go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say, I just don't understand why Jeep continues to try to sell us this crap. I mean, they know this isn't going to sell to the off-road audience. I mean,
no, at least not the off-road audience who's been around for a turn or two.
So I equate this to like what you're going to talk about in your next story, kind of like the H1, which is has an illustrious military career and many Desert Storm operations and things in the Middle East. and it's a great off-road vehicle. I mean, I'm sure that you could argue there's good points and bad points, but GM comes out with the H2. Why? Because all the H1s were on television. Everybody wants an H1, but nobody wants to spend $80,000 for a real off-road vehicle. So they spent $75,000 for an H2, or whatever it cost. So I guess they're just giving the public what the majority, I should say, of the public what the public wants.
Yeah, and the public is definitely wanting some off-road goodies from virtually any manufacturer. It just goes to show Jeep is putting out record sales numbers. GM is trying to step up to the plate recently, and they think they might have something up their sleeve to compete with the Wrangler. Personally, I think not. The Hummer could be making a comeback, Tony, in spirit at least. Reports are flooding the interwebs that General Motors is seriously considering adding a Jeep Wrangler fighting SUV to its GMC lineup. At the recent SEMA show, GM debuted its Colorado ZR2 concept, a jacked-up, diesel-powered midsize pickup that looks less like a concept and more like ready for the showroom floor. It had integrated winch bumper, lots of undercarriage skid plates, and remote reservoir shocks. All pretty nice, actually. Its sole purpose was to gauge the public's interest, and actually there was plenty of it. The automaker has reportedly discussed the idea with dealers, telling them that such a vehicle would offer the kind of style and off-road capabilities that were hallmarks of the military-inspired Hummer brand. The company left one such vehicle on the table when it discontinued Hummer 6 years ago. The 2008 HX concept was a two-door 4x4 with a removable roof that looked a lot like a Wrangler on steroids, or so they would like to think. If you ask me, I thought it looked more like a half-drunk bloated warthog, and was pretty much a shoo-in for production as the H4. Had Hummer survived, that is, which of course it did not. Will Ford release a two-door Hummer-like off-roader in the coming years? Well, the idea is being kicked around real hard. However, General Motors may not be waiting around for an all-new model to enter the segment, especially with Jeep sales at an all-time high. Jeep moved over 175,300 Wranglers just last year alone. Ford has nothing in that class even close. Good luck, Ford, because the king of the off-road is not likely to give up his throne anytime soon. Long live Jeep. Hey, guys, I want you guys to keep up the great work. You've been doing a really good job lately sending in these stories. I want you to keep sending in these news tips and stories. And big thanks to John, Prerunner 1982, and Jake for submitting these stories. If you guys would like to submit a story to be aired on This Week in Jeep, or if you have any response to any one of our stories aired on This Week in Jeep, please give us a call or send us an email to newstips@xjtalkshow.com.
xjtalk.com is where you go when you're not off-road. And now you can go to xjtalk.com when you're off-road too. Using your smartphone, install the Tap a Talk app, then search for XJ Talk. Take XJ Talk with you wherever you go. Jury duty, dinner with your spouse's parents, even, well, anywhere you need your XJ Talk fix.
xjtalk.com.
The XJ Talk Show is now available on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star rating.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or your MP3 player. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial over at www.audibletrial.com/XJTalkShow.
Well, isn't that does peachy? So you guys know us, Tony and Josh, Motoroy, and Northwest 99 XJ, who is, as you can see in the video, busily talking to people in the chat room because we have a little chat room that's below our video. And as I always say, every Thursday, or sometimes I say every Wednesday, but it's every Thursday, 10 p.m. Central Time. Go over there to xjtalkshow.com. And you can watch the video and chat and crack wise in the chat room. And so do a quick shout out. We've got Steve 4.3 LXJ. We've got Jeep Mama. There's Ron D. The Paps boys are here, sober as always, I'm sure. And James is here, unless I'm scrolling back to last week. That's a bad thing about free software, Josh. You know it. Yeah. You never know what you're going to get with free software. It works pretty good for most places. Anyway,
our podcast is like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're going to get.
No, you don't. And do you have the courage to eat chocolate while sitting in the bathroom? I don't.
Ooh, good question.
it's like, as long as you keep the hands straight, left and right, left and right, left and right. So, as I was saying, we're here every 10 p.m. Central Time at xjtalkshow.com. You can find us on Facebook at xjtalk.page. You can find us on the Twitter. You kids, get off my yard and find us on the Twitter at xjtalk. And what else, Josh?
Oh boy, we're just all over the place, really. I'm just everywhere.
Excellent.
Pretty much typing in something in the web, and we're going to be there.
Excellent. So let's get some voicemails.
Hey, this is Tony. And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Hey, it's Jensen. I just want to know what your guys' thoughts are on the Keystone Pipeline and U.S. versus Canada and what's happening with getting this going. Anyway, just thought I'd shoot that one out there.
Oh yeah, I saw that the Congress, the Senate passed the Keystone Pipeline bill today, the one that President Obama has promised to veto because he's real popular with the people and he likes to do things to make sure everybody's happy. Well, actually, I think it's more along the lines of he wants to keep everything clean, not so much everybody happy, but he wants to keep everybody clean, and he knows better than everybody else about what we should do and what we shouldn't do. So there you go.
Yeah, it's just so much political kowtowing, I think. And now that he's lost control of the Senate and the House, well, he's going to pretty much veto anything that comes across, regardless how well it's passed.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he does. But as far as it's my view on it is good. Let's put more people to work. Obviously, oil prices are way down right now, and there are some people that are losing their jobs because the price of oil is so far down. But I can almost promise you guys,
oil is complaining here.
Yeah, oil is going to come back, and
I
would like to see it stabilize. Now, it would be nice if it stayed low for about 4 years because it was too high for about 4 years, and let's balance things out a bit. But personally, I think we ought to get it away from the speculators. The speculators,
absolutely,
have really caused, I think, a horrible situation with the economy and everything else because. I mean, why should speculators be speculating what a barrel of oil is going to cost? A barrel of oil should cost what somebody is willing to pay for it.
Well, not only that, I always thought that regardless of what's going on in the industry or the Middle East or whatever, there should be a definite like $100 per barrel cap. And you can play all you want below that, but not allowed to go above it because, well, plain and simply, there's no real reason for it.
Yeah, but you get back into that situation of capitalism versus socialism. So when you start putting caps on things, you're going kind of towards the socialist side of things. Let's let the free market decide what it's going to do. And, of course, that's one of the reasons why we have such low prices now is there's a glut and the prices are down. So, anywho, before it gets to being too big of a political discussion, let's jump over to Nikki G as a palate cleanser.
Hey, this is Nikki G, and just caught the show. And I want to say, Jeep Mama, you did a good job. It was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. A bit of irony, though, is you're a soccer mommy, and you own a Jeep, and you use it off-road. And I'm a big fat redneck. I own a Jeep, and I use it to get groceries. So, proof that the cosmic universe does have a sense of humor. And I also like to congratulate Josh for ditching his laptop and going off the grid. Welcome to my world, friend. Your next step now is to go to Sam's Club and buy the big industrial-sized roll of tinfoil. Start lining your windows because glass doesn't block the radio waves. Make sure it's shiny side out, though. You get the most reflective properties that way.
Good tip.
All right, guys, I will chat at you later. Have a good one. Good day.
They got some
big thanks.
They got some nice thick aluminum at Sam's. That
the heavy duty stuff.
Yeah. The commercial grade, which is nice.
Yeah, you can almost repair a hole in your Jeep with it.
If you got a TIG welder, you can make yourself a radiator.
Yeah.
Well, let's get over to some YouTube love.
Oh, I do like that YouTube love, guys, and you've been doing a great job. We are climbing over that 200,000 view mark quite rapidly, and well, I think we're somewhere in the neighborhood of about 750 subscribers. We're desperately trying to reach that 1,000 mark, so make sure you guys are telling a friend. If you haven't subscribed, head over to our YouTube channel and make sure you guys do that right now. It's youtube.com/xjtalk. We pick out 4 of our subscribers every week and just pay a little homage, give them a little bit of shout-out. First on the list is Hunksiger71.
And what's this? David, I got. Is that Enoch?
Very good, Tony. I got NC240 Coupe in our number 3 spot.
Ooh, and a simple one, Keith Chase.
That's right, guys. And no particular order here. If you guys haven't heard your name and you subscribed recently, well, just sit tight. We're adding names to the list all the time. We'll get to you sooner or later.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of subscribers, and we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. Wow, we beat the music for a change.
I know, for a change.
Hey, folks, I'm Clyde, and this is Tommy from the Pat's Boys House. You're listening to the XJ Talk Show with Tony and Josh. Cheers!
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
Well, good stuff, Josh. That's I always get a kick out of that little video drop. You know, I sent them an email asking for permission to use that, and they never responded. So we should be seeing the legal papers soon.
Oh yeah, the cease and desist letters are being scribbled as we speak.
Just write me a check. I'll fill out the amount. Yeah, that's the way it goes. I see after enough chastising, you don't start talking to me before I get out of the Jeep. I just want to congratulate you on paying attention, Josh. That's great.
Oh, are you here?
What is that disembodied voice talking? Yes, Mama, I hear you. So, anything good going on, Josh? Have you actually gotten out of the garage and done anything to your Jeep?
Well, not so much to the Jeep. I've been busy on everybody else's vehicles lately. I've been doing a lot of work on other people's rigs. So, but I have worked on the garage itself. I got a $100 gift certificate, or gift card rather, for Christmas to Lowe's. And my intentions were originally to buy one of those new impact guns. It's kind of like a drill gun, but it's a little impact driver. And they come in very handy for working on the Jeep. And I figured I've used one in the past. Over at a buddy's house working on Jeeps. And I was like, man, this thing is really cool. It's lightweight. It gets into those tight spaces, and it's very powerful. I'm going to have to get me one of these.
Really speeds up the job.
Yeah, absolutely. Power tools always make things go great. So, I was kind of sitting around doing my research, and a buddy of mine, another Jeeper, he was mentioning that he had built himself a new workbench. And I was like, a new workbench? Geez, the one you had was built like a tank. What are you doing with it? And he said, well, this guy on Craigslist said he was going to buy it, but he's kind of, flaking on me. And I was like, well, if you give him some time and he doesn't come through, then, hey, give me first dibs on it. And he's like, all right. And so we worked out a deal to where I'd trade him the gift card for the workbench. Now, this thing has got 4x10 or 4x12 stringers on it. It's made all with 4x4s, and the top is all like 2x8s or 2x10s or something like that. I mean, this thing is literally built like a tank. I mean, it is just absolutely indestructible, minus a gigantic fire, of course, because it is all made out of wood. But he's got a picture of a large V8 sitting on top of it. I mean, this thing can definitely handle some weight. It is the last workbench I will ever need. And I've been using one of those steel and particle board shelving units from Home Depot that kind of break down and you can put them side by side. And that's been my workbench for the last 5 or 6 years or so. And it works okay. I could never really bash on anything really hard. I couldn't do any hammering on it. Mounting a vise to it was really sketchy. So, I've been wanting to upgrade it for quite a long time. And borrowed a buddy's big old diesel truck and went and picked this thing up, made the deal, got it home, and proceeded to tear my garage clean apart. And that's exactly what I did. I literally took everything off the one wall, put it all in the middle of the garage, ended up having a lot more garbage than I thought I was going to, and then rearranged everything. Took what was my workbench and then reassembled it as a shelving unit and got myself a lot more storage space. So the garage is in better shape than it ever has been before, and I love the new workbench. It is absolutely awesome. It's nice and tall. It's deep. It's strong, and man, I could not be happier. So it's going to give me a great platform to do my transfer case rebuild here coming up very soon, and that's kind of what I have scheduled in the very near future as far as what I want to get done. Now the Jeep is running and driving just fine, and I could take it off road. I just definitely wouldn't want to do any rock crawling with it. It's not what I would call trail reliable, at least for that kind of wheeling that I do. So it's going to go into hiatus for a while. I've been telling you guys about this for a little bit now, but I've got some work on some other vehicles that I need to do here coming up, just because I promised some people that I'm going to help them out with some audio work and some alarm installs and stuff like that. So that's coming up here real soon. I've got a little bit of a Jeep thing coming up here in late February that I may try and have the Jeep ready for, but man, I've got such a laundry list of stuff to do, and honestly, it's very overwhelming. All the stuff that I really need to do. Everything from exhaust leak fixes, the header leak that I need to take care of, some wiring, shock install, armor install, long arm upgrade. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it's one of those.
Well,
I'm getting at the point now where
what do you need to do? What do you need to do to feel confident about going off road? That's the way. Narrow down your list to what is the one or two things that you need to do. You don't need a long arm upgrade to go off road. It's nice, but you don't need it. Now maybe it's rebuilding the transfer case you need to do.
Yeah, that's well, I'd really like to take care of that exhaust leak before I do anything else. It's
other than the headache, it's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you don't go to sleep permanently.
Right. So yeah, it's I got to take the top end of the engine off, the intake manifold and the the fuel rail and all that stuff to get down to the exhaust manifold and deal with that. I've done it before. It's not that big of a deal. It's just time consuming, and I'm in this point now, and I've talked about this before on the XJ Talk Show that I'm in one of these phases where I've lost my motivation.
I know what you mean.
Maybe it's a seasonal thing. I don't know.
You're always working on the damn Jeep. I just want to play. Why do I have to work on the Jeep all the time?
It's not quite that bad, but it's just I've got such a long list of stuff that I need to do that it's like where to start, and that's good advice, Tony. I mean, I have prioritized things, but I'm one of those guys where it's like, well, I don't want to just nitpick. I want to get it all done. I want to do it all at once.
Well, that's where your problem is. That's why you're having such a hard time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like I learned in programming years ago. If you look at the project as a whole, you look at all the time, all the effort that you're going to have to put into it, it's going to be overwhelming, and you're not going to be able to do it. But just take it one module at a time, and boom, 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 boom. Pretty soon you're done, and you go, oh, my God, that wasn't hard at all. So I know exactly what you're talking about as far as getting motivated. I was really happy I got out there and did some work last weekend on mine. So believe me, I know. I was reviewing past shows because of your post today on XJ Talk. I was trying to find those episodes that you were referring to in your post.
Ah, yes.
And I saw a reference to my onboard air system from 2011.
Oh yeah, that's a kind of a.
So don't feel bad.
Sure. Yeah, so that's another thing. I've got a couple compressors sitting out there. I don't have a tank. Onboard air has been one of those things that I've been threatening to do for quite a while. There's a bunch of interior mods that I'd like to do, but until I get either a trailer or another vehicle to transport my DJ gear, I can't really mess with the inside of the Jeep right now. So doing like a cargo build out. Racks on the inside or anything like that, an air tank mount.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to fit everything in there. It barely fits now.
It really does. It's like a game of Tetris trying to fit all my equipment in for any given gig. So it's
well, that explains the music that you play.
It's on the back burner. Yeah, right.
So
that's about what's going on in my Jeep world. I've got I've got another list of other vehicles that I have to work on as well. I've got a buddy that's got a Clunk. Actually, I think he might be in the chat room right now. It's 92 War Wagon. We actually shared a cigar earlier this evening, and we're just kind of BSing around the campfire, as it were, kind of like we're doing right now. And we're talking Jeep for a little while. He's got a Clunk that I kind of had diagnosed to potentially a control arm bushing, which I know you're all too familiar with,
yes,
Tony. So I'm going to diagnose that for him, hopefully on Saturday as well, and get him taken care of, or at least pointed in the right direction here very soon. And I have another alarm installed to do on a buddy's new commuter, his new daily driver vehicle. So that's going to take up my Saturday. And, well, Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday, and then back to the grind on Monday. So maybe, just maybe, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, I will get a chance to work on my own rig.
Well, I'm just going to mention this. I'm just going to throw it out there. Everybody's going to be busy Sunday. They're not going to come by and bother you at all. That'd be a great day to work on stuff, Josh.
Oh no, I've got plans. I got a couple of people coming over to watch the game and stuff, and I've got other people
this is
trying
perfect.
to get me to come over and
set the TV up in the garage and say thanks for coming by, guys.
Here, you want some hot wings? Grab a wrench.
It's a trap.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I guess I'll mention this real quick. I did get out and do some work on my Jeep this past weekend. I was real proud of myself. I did wait until the last minute Sunday to get out there and do it, but it was before noon.
That's always risky. Always risky because if something goes wrong, you break a bolt or something like that.
Yeah. I kept it simple. I went out there with the idea of replacing the upper control arm bushings on the Dana 30 with the Rubicon Express. I think they're builder parts where it's a bushing.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Matt at Bleeping Jeep has a video on this. And another Matt, just to be confusing, Matt Sporenberg actually did this to his Jeep and highly recommended it. So I bought a pair of these things, and I was going to press out those upper control arm bushings off of the axle side and replace both bushings, if you will, on that upper control arm, at least on one side. And I got out there and I thought, I'm just going to keep this thing simple. So I just replaced the bushing, the bad bushing on the upper control arm body side. And it made a huge difference. I posted some pictures up on xjtalk.com, the number one Jeep forum, at least in my mind, on the internet. And the bushing was very bad. And it's amazing how much better it drives now. Is that right? It doesn't want to track along with the expansion joints and in the road or any little dips in the road, which it kind of had a mind of its own. I mean, it wasn't so bad that it would be dangerous, but when we were replacing the engine and Matt took it for that 20-mile drive, he says, "Man, you got to do something about those bushings," because it was bothering him. He's not used to that. So I've replaced the one, and then after that, I went ahead and replaced the license plate mount on the front. I had made my own license plate mount that clips to the fair lead on the winch, and I used the Maglite flashlight holder brackets, which are just plastic. And
what's the average price point on those brackets, just for those out there who have been toying around with the idea of doing something similar?
Well, at Amazon.com, it would be I don't recall. It was less than $20. It seems like it was around $7 or $8, I think. Now, one person had posted on the XJ Talk, those aren't going to last very long because they're plastic. Well, they lasted for years. And the only reason why I replaced them was, well, I don't know if you remember that big rolling toolbox that I got for $200 off of Woot.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember that.
I measured it, and it doesn't quite fit in front of the Jeep. So every time I pull in, the license plate pushes up against it. It's like a half-inch too close.
Oh, jeez.
so me pulling up really slow to that toolbox had damaged one of those little plastic clips.
Oh, I see.
So that's why I replaced it. And I just got one of the Smitty-built ones that are made to go on there and just transferred over the license plate. And I went ahead and put another cable on there that retains the whole license plate and everything to the bumper. So in case I take it off and I forget to put it back on after winching, then it's going to stay there with me and I don't have to drive an hour back to the park and try to find it.
Very good.
So then I went to the back and replaced the license plate mount that I had on my rear tire spare, pulled that one off, and used a piece of flat strap and extended the license plate mount that's right behind, right in the center of the of the hatch. I extended that over so that the license plate would be, offset and not behind the spare tire, and got the thing is bright LED light that's made to go on the top of the license plate.
Oh,
and it is very bright, and it probably will keep people from riding my tail just simply because the license plate is so white and bright now. Anyway, so I got 3 things accomplished. I still have more things to do, obviously, and some more things to do to the suspension. But getting a lot closer, and I know, like I said, exactly what you mean as far as not wanting to get out there. But I guarantee you, at least down here, it's a lot better to work on it now than it will be in, probably even May. When it's going to be start to get bad outside.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe down there, you were hitting 80 degrees in January. We had a 60-degree day the other day, and that was pretty, really unusual for a January here in the Northwest. It's Detours Off-Road Hardware, fabricating for the off-road community for over 15 years. Winch mounts, armor, tire carries, and so much more. All made right here in the USA. All original designs, always innovating, never imitating. Got custom? Well, they've got you covered. As always, Detours welcomes the challenge of your custom projects. True custom work is a one-off fabrication. Big or small, they're proud to be able to get their hands dirty doing it. Think you're too far away for them to help you directly with your project? Detours welcomes both local and long-distance projects. So give them a call or email a photo or even a sketch, and they'll see what Detours Off-Road Hardware can do for your project. Meanwhile, take a look at their gallery of custom projects they've helped others with, and check out the complete line of projects for your vehicle at detoursusa.com, or call them direct. Guys, here's the number, 605-845-0024. Discuss your project needs at 606-845-0024. That's all you need, guys. detoursusa.com.
And now it's time for some Radio Com Tech.
Another warrior is on the mesa.
This is John, Pre-Runner 1982, and today I'm going to tell you what the knobs and switches on the front of your CB radio do and how to properly adjust them. Now, if you have a compact radio, like a Cobra 19 or a Uniden Pro 505 or 520, you're only going to have a few knobs and switches. They're pretty basic radios. But if you have a Cobra 25 or Cobra 29, one of the larger radios, there are quite a few more knobs and switches on there, so we're going to go over those today. First knob, generally on the far left, is your on-off and volume. That's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to leave that one up to you. The next knob is usually the squelch knob, and what this does is it sets a signal strength that a transmitting station has to have in order for your radio to basically acknowledge it and allow you to listen. So with your radio on, what you're going to want to do is turn the squelch knob all the way to the left or counterclockwise. And then slowly turn it until all that staticky noise goes away. And that's where you're going to want to set it. Now, you may encounter areas where there'll be RFI or interference from outside sources. They're going to break your some tuning as you pass through certain areas. And this is generally interference from power lines that have bad isolators. Commonly an issue with ham radio as well. I have encountered it on my daily drive, as a matter of fact. You may also have a dyno mic knob, and what this does is it controls the sensitivity of the microphone's audio level. So you're going to turn it clockwise to the maximum voice volume, and then you can always reduce the dyno mic if necessary. Now you may also have an ANL and MB switch. ANL stands for Automatic Noise Limiter, and MB means Noise Blanker. What this switch does is it blocks out the noise interference caused by the electronics in your vehicle, such as your ignition. So if you're having that type of an issue, turning the switch on would come in handy. Now another knob is called RF gain, or sometimes just called gain. And what this knob does is it helps reduce very strong signals that are nearby. They can overload your receive. So that you can adjust that as needed depending on how strong nearby signals are. If there aren't any, you can turn it all the way down so it'll help you receive more distant weak signals. Now, if you have a single sideband radio, you may also have a knob called a delta tune. And what this knob does is it helps you really zero in on that station or that signal that you're trying to communicate with, because in single sideband, the frequency does drift a little bit. So the Delta Tune helps eliminate that drift and really zero in on that particular individual or signal you're trying to work with. Now, you may also have a channel 19/9 button, and what that does is it is a quick way to switch from channel 19 to channel 9. Now, with my Cobra 19, say if I have it set to channel 4, which is what my local club uses, I can push the button once and it'll change to channel 9, push it again, it'll change to channel 19, and if I push it a third time, it actually will go back to my original channel 4. It does come in handy, especially if you want to monitor the channel your group runs and channel 19. The larger radios may also have an SWR switch on them, but I'll get into that more later in a different episode. I think that's really all for the knobs and switches. It's really not that difficult once you understand what each knob does. So until next time, avoid those pickle parks with the sleeper leapers, watch out for gators or you'll need a dragon wagon, and keep an eye on your back door so you don't feed the bears. This is John, pre-runner in 1982, and I'll catch you on the flip-flop.
I really thought that back door was going a different direction.
Oh, man, what a sign-off. Great job, John. Great job indeed.
Now, I want to jump in and not a correction, but add something. What John was saying is probably 100% true on CBs. Sideband radios probably would have a tendency to drift, but that's only because they're cheap. Even if you pay $300 for your CB sideband radio, it's still cheap in comparison to some of the other like ham radios that are out there. And the reason why you have to adjust that is because the person transmitting or your radio is drifting as temperatures change and the components don't have high tolerances, so it's changing frequency, and it's a very narrow band communication, so that's why you notice it moving. If you get a radio that has higher tolerant components and et cetera, there's even crystal stability modules that you can put in various radios to keep it dead on frequency. And
sounds expensive to me.
Well, I mean, you can always buy used, like an ICOM 706 Mark II Model G. I picked up one for $500. So if you're spending $300 on a CB or even $200 on a CB, double the price and you get a much better radio. Now, of course, you're not supposed to use that on the CB bands. People do, but you're not supposed to. So anyway, that's one of the things he was talking about as far as the drift goes. That happens. And years ago, Swan was called the Driftmaster 2000 because it would move around. You'd have to follow people around on the band as you were talking to them. How are you on a Swan? Yeah, how'd you know? That's okay. Never mind.
Now, see, the Driftmaster 2000 is usually the name that I have when I'm driving the Honda in the rain.
There you go. Yeah, you still got the Honda? I was wondering about that.
I do. It's still in my possession, and it hasn't left my possession since the last time. So
that's amazing. Well, apparently you're paid in full with karma.
Ah, yes.
So, guys, we got some reviews here. Now, I may have already read this one, but what the hell? You probably haven't heard it, or if you did, you should hear it again, damn it. So, Northern Jeep, way back on January 21st, which is like a week ago, says, great show, and gave us 5 stars. This is the first podcast I've listened to, and I'm hooked. I'm going back and downloading past podcasts and the 4x4 podcast. I even subscribed to your YouTube channel. And if you guys don't recall, we actually formed this network called the 4x4 Radio Network, and the 4x4 podcast is also a member of that, and we're hoping to bring in more 4x4 shows here very, very soon. You should go over to 4x4radionetwork.com and check out that website.
Yep. It's a work in progress, guys, and we'll be, of course, announcing as things progress and let you know all the latest as far as what's developing with that, so please stay tuned. We got another review here from, I'm going to butcher this, so I deeply apologize. It's R.D. Sororiers or something along those lines. Yeah, I'm sorry. He says, I don't even own an XJ, but he gave us a 5-star rating nonetheless. Guys, I freaked a while back when I thought you were going off the air. I do own a TJ and subscribe to your web forums, and even though I listen to other subjects via podcasts on my phone, you guys are the best. It's like listening to my best friends. I felt an obligation to finally write a review and help even in the smallest way to your show. And keep it going. Big thanks to you who I have butchered your name so severely. I apologize. If you'd like to call in and, well, teach me how to say that name properly. Very much appreciate a voicemail for that, but we definitely thank you for that review.
Yeah, we went way back in time for that one. That was back on September 29th of 2013. That was
and I don't even remember. I don't remember that one either. So that's usually I'm pretty good about remembering reviews, and I just don't remember that name. So that's one that has slipped through the cracks, as it were, at least as far as I'm concerned. Guys, if you have left a review and you haven't heard it, well, you need to crack the whip and let us know. And be like, hey, I left you one back in 2012. And, well, we'll definitely get to it. But if you haven't left a review, guys, please head over to iTunes, and you can find us over there, itunes.com/xjtalk. I'm guessing the link would somewhat look like. Anyways, a quick search would help you out there. And leave us a 5-star review. And, of course, leave us one of these little reviews and comments, if you will. And we love the comments, even if it's constructive criticism. You got something to say about, man, I just cannot stand Josh's deep, whiny voice, always complaining about this or that. Please, let us know. If you got something to say about the show, we want to hear it, good or bad.
Why won't Josh wear an XJ Talk hat, for example? That would be a good one.
That is a good one. Yeah, I will have to address that issue in upcoming episodes.
I tried to send him a hat, guys. I'm not really a hat person. Then he wore that beanie, a couple of weeks ago. And how's that supposed to make me feel? I tried to give him a free hat. He's wearing a beanie. It says Jeep. That's good enough. But anyway, I digress. So let's get over to our main attraction here. Tammy, a Jeep Mama, episode 6 of Wrangler Talk.
Hey, thanks, Tony and Josh. I had a real great time last week co-hosting with Tony. Hey, and Josh, I hope you got the bugs fixed on your laptop. So tonight I'm going to talk about my Rubicon and some buttons that are in my Rubicon that I like to use, and some that I'm still trying to figure out how to use or what they're for. The first is the hill descent control button, which was on my Sahara, and I used it on my Sahara a couple times, and I've used it once in the Rubicon. And basically this button is used when you are on top of a hill, a very steep hill that's rocky or icy. And when you push the button, you let your foot off the gas and off the brake, and you let the Jeep do the driving down the hill. Now, this is a good time to use this when you're a newbie Jeeper going down a hill. It kind of gives you the feel of how you're supposed to go down the hill. Some people call it cheating, but I think it's a good way to get to know your Jeep and how you are supposed to go down hills. So the next two buttons I'm going to talk about, I call my magic buttons. My husband likes to call them the $7,000 buttons. Now, these buttons were not on my Sahara. They're not on the Sport. And I don't believe, I could be wrong, they're on any other Jeep. Anyway, it's the sway bar and the axle lock button. The sway bar button I have used twice now, and basically it's the sway bar disconnect button. So when I'm in 4 low, I push the button and it disconnects my sway bar. And most of you know that sway bar disconnect allows for articulation when you're rock crawling. It also allows for both wheels to stay connected to the terrain. As you noticed in my first off-roading experience, I didn't have this luxury of disconnecting my sway bars, and one of my tires went up a little too high and came crashing down, and it was very heart-stopping for me. And right then I knew I've got to get the sway bar disconnect. The next button is the axle lock button. I totally get what locking the axles does. I understand the difference between open differential and lock differential, but my question is, when do you use this? Okay, so when I got back from my first time off-roading, somebody questioned me why I didn't use the axle lock button the whole time, and I'm like, well, because I didn't need to. They said, oh, no, you're supposed to use it the whole time. And I was like questioning what I was taught and what I understood of how these worked. So, I've done some research and I posted it on question online, and it seems like it's kind of split. Some people say, yeah, you have to have your axle lock. You push that button the whole time. And there's others like, no, you could do some damage. My understanding is that you use it for climbing over tough obstacles, or when you're in a situation where you may need extra traction to keep you from getting stuck. Now, I understand that all the tires will spin at the same rate, and this is to help you, to keep you from getting stuck. So I'm still questioning that, but I believe that I know that I'm right, that I shouldn't use them unless I absolutely need it, because I don't want to damage my axles or my drivetrain overusing something that you really don't need. So the next button is the electronic stability control. And the electronic stability control senses when you begin to over or understeer and applies individual brakes and controls your throttle as needed to help put you back on track. And some people call it the electronic stability program. And it's a computerized technology that improves the vehicle's stability by detecting and reducing loss of traction. When ESC detects a loss of steering control, it automatically applies the brake to help steer the vehicle where the driver intends to go. Now my question is, when would I need this, and does pushing this button stop this type of control, or does it engage this type of control? So anyway, that's kind of what I'm looking into now. Hopefully I'll find the answers and I'll know what to do with this button. So in the meantime, I just don't touch it because everything's going fine now. And if I touch this button, who knows? Maybe it'll turn my Rubicon back into a Sahara. That would be horrible. So that's my story about the 4 buttons in my Rubicon. And I'll still be looking into the ESC button. In the meantime, don't forget to check me out on www.jeepmama.com. I'm also on Instagram at Jeep_Mama. I'm on Twitter at Mama Jeep. And the Mama is MOMMA. I have YouTube videos, the Jeep Mama, on the Jeep Mama channel. I'm also on Facebook as Jeep Mama. And don't forget to check out my blog. Again, it's www.jeepmama.com. Anyway, thanks, Tony and Josh, and I'll see you all in the chat room.
See, I'm starting to sense a theme with the Jeep Mama thing. And who's the bastard that got Jeep Mama on Twitter? I mean, come on.
Oh, I know,
How
right?
How dare they?
And not going to give it up either. That's too bad.
I wonder if she's actually contacted them. She should say, "Hey, look at all this stuff I got." Oh, no, you don't want to do that because then they'll want money.
Yeah, right. I'll just give them the $20 Amazon card or something.
Yeah, I won't come over and rut your yard. Right. That would be the way to do it. Of course, you never can tell. That could be anywhere in the world.
Hey, Tony, do we have enough time to do a little bit of locker talk?
Yes, please.
So I just kind of very quickly wanted to sort of address some of Tammy's concerns and questions about, when and how to use lockers and stuff. And she kind of did her research and stuff and was talking about there's basically 2 camps. Those who say, use it all the time, and those who say you should never really use it unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
Me, myself, I'm kind of in the middle. Like I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a wheeling expert, but I do consider myself a veteran wheeler. I've wheeled several different kinds of rigs, and I've been on all kinds of different terrain, and I wheel with all kinds of vehicles and all kinds of drivers as well. And really, it really comes down to your own particular driving style and, of course, the kind of terrain that you're in. Now, obviously, you don't want to use lockers on anything like cement. And even like a gravel road, obviously, you don't need to use your locker then. But generally, general light wheeling and stuff, and I'm not talking about what it takes to go from one trail to the next. I'm talking about when you're actually on the trail. Now, I wheel with guys, they use the ARBs a lot, and you're going to hear those solenoids depressurizing quite a bit, and especially the front locker. And really the front locker is going to be the one that's going to be used on and off the most, because when that locker is engaged, you're going to find it's a little bit harder to turn through a corner with both those front wheels engaged. And so sometimes you might need them to bump yourself over an obstacle or something and then quickly disconnect them so you can make the turn and navigate around a tree or another obstacle or something like that. It really comes down to personal preference. These things are they're designed to take abuse. We're talking about locking up differentials and the kind of torque that is applied across the axle shafts into the differential with larger tires. These things are designed to take a little bit of abuse. They're designed to be turned on and off. Now, obviously, you don't want to sit there and sit there and strobe the button.
The locker itself may be designed to take the abuse, but you're going to be, you always find the weakest link when you start using these things. So it's always a possibility that you're going to break something else in the process. Now, she's dealing with a complete system from the factory.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's right.
So the engineers took things into account. Doesn't mean you're not going to break it. It just means it's going to work together.
That's right, exactly.
So, go ahead.
it's when you start finding that weak link is when you start relying on it more than your own driving skills. There comes a point where you kind of get a little overcome. You get too comfortable with the vehicle's capabilities, and your own driving capabilities are not matched by the vehicle's capabilities. And that's when you start finding those weaker links a little bit more often than you probably should. And lockers especially, when you start locking up the differentials and the axles are spinning, you get into a binding issue if you haven't picked the right line, or you find yourself sliding off of something and in a precarious position. And this is when the damage starts to happen. You kind of start getting freaked out. The adrenaline starts happening. Yeah, and you start thinking with a different part of your brain. You start using the fight or flight response versus the frontal cortex, and really thinking about where I am and what I should be doing. And you're thinking about just getting out of that situation because you're not in a comfortable situation. Maybe you're too off camber or something like that. So, it's just, Tammy, personal preference. You're going to eventually learn how to use it the way that you feel comfortable with it. And other people's opinions, use them as guidance, not as a rule.
Well, I think I'd just add that in that video that she had, there was a section there where she was trying, they weren't major rocks, at least didn't appear to be major rocks, and she was trying to get up and over them. And now she may have been actually bumping up underneath the differential or something. That might have been why she was backing up. But that might have been a good time to engage the lockers to actually allow you to get the traction to get up and over the rock that you were trying to get up and over. I'm battling some audio issues here, guys, so I'm having a little trouble talking and working the knobs at the same time.
But yeah, that's again, it's just especially the kind of terrain. If you're on slick rock and stuff like that, you're going to want that traction. You're obviously going to want to be aired down. You're going to want to very much pay attention to either your spotter or your line. Paying attention to what the vehicle in front of you is doing, unless you're running point, and watch where their wheels are and what they're doing and how the vehicle is reacting. Obviously, if you see them sliding off of a rock, maybe you want to try a different line and such. But don't be afraid of the lockers. They are there to help you.
Yep. So let's get over to our Amazon You Bought What, and I'm going to beat this audio equipment while we're doing it.
Amazon.com and the XJ Talk Show present You Bought What?
Guys, this is one of our favorite segments of the show. We do this every other week, and this is our Amazon You Bought What. And how this works is we have a great relationship set up with Amazon.com. If you don't know what Amazon.com is, well, it is basically the largest shopping mall on the web, if you will. You can pretty much buy virtually anything on Amazon.com. And how this works is all you guys have to do is head over to xjtalk.com or xjtalkshow.com. You're going to see an Amazon banner right there on the main page. Please click on that when you're doing any online shopping. It's going to take you to Amazon.com, where you're going to have the largest selection and the best prices of virtually anything that you can imagine. And we ask you guys to do that. It's a great way to support the XJ Talk Show. It's a great way to support xjtalk.com. It helps keep the lights on. It helps us keep bringing you guys great content. And, of course, we get a small, tiny little kickback from each and every purchase. Now, you guys aren't going to pay a dime more. Not a single red cent is marked up on that price. Great way to stick it to the man, wouldn't you think? We get a little kickback from that. You guys get a great deal and some great products as well. And we get a list of what has been purchased. Now, we don't see who's buying what. And this is where some of the fun comes in, because we've asked you guys to throw us a curveball every now and again. Find something rather off the wall that you might think that we might have a hard time talking about. And you're going to see how this works out tonight.
Yep. And I'll just go ahead and start here with, and this is a past one we did, but still a goodie. Alloy USA Differential Permanent Cable Lock Kit. So this is of course it's a Alloy USA, so it's got to be good, right? It's a trusted industry leader, backed by a manufacturer's warranty, great performance, and enhance your vehicle. So is this for the disconnect, Josh? Is this for the Dana 30 disconnects, I believe?
That's exactly what that is. Some of the Dana 30s, especially on the older, like the YJs and some of the earlier XJs, they had essentially like a three-piece axle. The passenger side axle has a disconnect in it, and so when you put it into four-wheel drive, this actually connects the front axle. And those two pieces together. Now, what this intent is to do is to remove all that vacuum actuator stuff and really helps strengthen up that vacuum disconnect Dana 30. Get you a little plate in there and a little, it basically permanently connects those two pieces together. You guys want this. If you have an early model Dana 30 for less than $50, you guys can get this. It's going to definitely be an upgrade versus doing something like an axle swap to a high pinion Dana 30. Now, I've got one here. This is the V-Gate Bluetooth Scan Tool, OBD2 scanner for the Torque app. Android, this thing is less than $10 and comes with free shipping. Works with all OBD2 compliant vehicles. That's pretty much anything after manufactured after 96. It reads diagnostic trouble codes with both generic and manufacturer specific and displays their meaning. Over 3,000 generic code definitions are in the database. It comes with it. You can clear trouble codes with it. You can turn off the MIL or the check engine light. You can even impress your friends with this. It comes with all sorts of really cool stats you can display on your smartphone. Make sure you buy from this because, there are some other imitations out there. Guys, we're going to throw up that link for you over at xjtalkshow.com/Amazon. You guys can see all the products that we talk about here. This thing is super compact, and it works with the Torque Android app, which I think they have a free version, but if you want the big fat Cadillac Daddy version, it's only like $4.99 and comes with all the bells and whistles.
Oh, wow. I thought it was like $2, but I haven't bought it. I bought it a while back, so maybe I did spend that much for it. So this is a pretty cool thing. We all like the Hayes manuals. Well, when I say we all do, I never did because it never had the information that I really needed. But somebody went over to Amazon and bought the Kawasaki Triple Owners Workshop Manual. And this is for the Kawasaki 250, 350, and 400 triplets owners. So somebody's doing some work on their motorcycle, Josh.
And somebody's doing some work on their communication system. We have a rectangular external communication speaker for ham radio, CB, and scanners. It's a great sounding compact communications external speaker because oftentimes the speakers that come with the units, oftentimes they're built in, and they're kind of tinny and they're kind of hard to hear, especially if you have it mounted kind of in a spot that's out of the way. Chances are you're going to be losing a lot of the volume coming out of that unit. This thing's only about 4.5 by about 2.5 by 2.5 inches wide. It is rectangular. It's 8 ohm resistance on that, so pretty much will work with virtually any radio. Includes the mounting bracket and, of course, the hardware. Great for CB radios, amateur radios, two-way, and even police scanners, and includes a cord with a standard 3.5 millimeter plug, and that's like the little mini headphone jack. Guys, if you have a CB and you're kind of hard to hear on the trail, especially like on the gravel roads and stuff, this thing is going to be a great addition. I've got something very similar to this, and man, it is one of the greatest mods or upgrades I've done to my CB system.
Well, that speaker's never mounted in the right place on the CB anyway to be able to hear clearly. So it's always a good idea to get an extra speaker like this so that you can actually hear things clearer. So always a great thing and something else that you can get on Amazon.com.
We just found out what you bought.
Oh my God, I just can't believe that made it on the list.
Well, that's a show, and I'd say just in time with this audio screwing up on me, Josh.
Yeah, I'm saying you're getting worse by the minute here. I must have, whatever I had must have been contagious. It went your way, guys. So a lot of show, guys. Going to have to cut a little bit short tonight. Tony's having some issues. Next week, guys, we promise we're going to give you all sorts of good stuff as well. We want to make sure you guys are subscribing, rating, and reviewing us. If you know somebody, well, we know that you've been listening to the podcast. You're likely not in a place where you can hit a subscribe button or take the time to give us one of those awesome 5-star ratings or even write us a review. You may be driving or working out. Trying to hit or type a small little button while you're doing that can be dangerous or distracting. So please make sure you take the time later on in the day to give us a subscription, give us a rating and a review, of course. And we want to let you guys know that anybody can do an interview on the XJ Talk Show. If you got a Jeep story to tell, or maybe you have a show and shine or an off-road event in your town, we definitely want to hear about it. If you'd like to spread the word about it, give us a call or email us at the same place you would for a Jeep news story at newstips@xjtalkshow.com. I'm going to give you guys our 24/7 voicemail line real quick, 530-675-4102. 530-675-4102. 24/7 voicemail line. You guys can reach us there anytime. Of course, nobody's going to answer that, and we'd like to hear from you on that. Of course, please visit our Facebook page. Make sure you guys visit that and like. Of course, we're on Twitter at StitcherRadio.com, TuneIn.com, iTunes, YouTube. Boy, we are all over the website. And if you guys like the show, please make sure you're telling a friend. And don't forget, you guys can be a part of the show as well. We always have a third seat open. It could be for you. In the meantime, please consider heading over to xjtalkshow.com. Our entire show archive is there for your listening pleasure, and it's 100% free. And we'd like to see you guys here each and every week. We are broadcasting on YouTube as well as live on xjtalkshow.com every Thursday, 10 p.m. Central. We're in the chat room every week as well. You guys can interact with us live during the show at xjtalkshow.com.
Easy for him to say. Man, listen to that. Listen to that. Boy, it has gone bad. It has just gone bad. Well, guys, I used it as much as I could, though.
Yeah, you did. You got the use out of that. That's for sure. Well, guys, while Tony figures out his electrical issues, I'm going to say farewell. Hope you guys have a great Jeep week, and go Seahawks for the Super Bowl. We'll see you guys next time on the XJ Talk Show.
You guys have a
Take care and have a great Jeep week.
Yeah, great Jeep week.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
Yeah, man, this thing got really bad really quick. I remember we were messing with it the other day, trying to get it to work, and it straightened up. But it just sounds horrible.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. You sound like you're talking through a pillow, and you're awfully distorted and stuff as well. So yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there. It almost sounds like maybe your mic cord has gone kaput or something like that. So I don't know. We'll have to do some troubleshooting later on.
Well, for us to record the promo, I'm going to have to do it now. I'm just going to move it over to one of the other channels.
Do you have a backup mic, Tony?
No. It's not a microphone problem.
Think it's a processor or a cable problem then?
It's
not processor.
It's the compressor limiter gate channel.
Oh, has this happened before?
Yeah, we were messing with it the other day, and I was messing around with the threshold setting, and it would. I got it to straighten up. It's like it's a bad pot. It could just be a bad channel, I guess.
I don't know. This sounds a little different. You're dropping off really bad, and your volume is just plummeted. And of course there's that distortion too.
Yeah. Well, let me just move it over to the other channel real quick.
Steve says it happened when you moved the mic, Tony. Well, while Tony's figuring all that stuff out, I just wanted to thank you guys who are in the chat room for coming in and and just kind of joining in on the fun. We get a little bit more each and every week, and it's nice to see some familiar faces in there. Ron, and I'm sorry for butchering that username. You know, I thought it was Ron Disdain. Anyways, I thought it was something different because it's not a name that I was used to seeing. Of course, we got the Paps Boys and 4.3 LXJ, aka Steve. You guys know him from Jeep Tips. Always nice to see him as well. Ron's looks like he's taken off. So bye, Ron. Thanks for stopping by. Of course, Paps Boys in there. Always awesome to see those guys coming in. And of course, Tammy, you did an awesome job last week, so thank you very much. A personal thank you for filling in. I know it was short notice, but you did great, and I couldn't have had a better substitute co-host.
So let's see here.
Hey, that's better, Tony.
Yep, that's another channel. I just had a quick look back there, and none of these things are set right. I just had a quick look in the back, and I saw where I could actually just move the mic over to the next mic channel here on the board. Although this one doesn't. This one still has some raspiness to it as well.
Just a skosh, but man, I mean, it's 10% of what it was.
Oh yeah. So I don't know how this channel is set up.
It doesn't sound bad. You're a little quiet from where you were at the beginning of the show, but it doesn't sound bad. I mean, you're clear at least.
Yeah. Test. Hello, test. Testing 1 2 3. Well, I may be having a problem with this whole thing. Let me try one more mic over.
Okay. No, thanks again, Jeep Mama. That was really good, and your audio on this last the Wrangler talk was really, really good. Whatever you've done, it's a massive improvement, and it sounds simply awesome. So whatever you've done, keep it up. It sounds great. I actually, John Prerunner 1982, who did our Radio Comtech, he hit me up through private message today on xjtalk.com and was asking me some microphone questions and stuff. And it looks like he might be doing some upgrades to his little home studio as well. So, it sounds like he's got a few shows that he's going to be, or segments rather, that he's going to be doing for us. And it sounds like he's going to make a small little investment to upgrade from the. I think he's running an inboard mic on his laptop or something like that. So, but it sounds like he's ready to step up to something else as well. Yeah, so, Jeep Mom, I know you're using the Blue Yeti. Those Blue microphones are actually one that I was looking at for quite a while, just because I know a couple other podcasters who use them, and they sound very good. It's just a matter of getting everything all set up and dialed in, and that's really what it's all about. Obviously, you can tell with the technical difficulties that I had. But that was definitely hardware issues with the computer, and that wasn't anything as far as messing around with dials and switches and stuff like that. But as you can tell, I mean, it takes a little bit of messing around as you can hear Tony trying to get things dialed back in as he reconfigures things.
I was trying to see which one I was on. Okay, now I didn't realize I had this thing set up this way since it's been so long since I messed with it. But this is on a completely different compressor limiter gate. So,
oh my!
Yeah, so now I am on the backup compressor limiter gate, which apparently I've got the mic channels 3 and 4 going to, and I'm not hearing that raspiness at all. So I don't know if you can hear it. I'm trying to adjust the channel settings to match what the other one was. So hello test 1 2 3 hello test. There we go. Wow, that's great to know. I wish I had realized this. When I had the problem, because I could have just put the mic on mute, moved it over, and continued on with the show. But man, it really sucks. It's funny because you're on the one the compressor limiter gate that I was on, and you're on channel 4. And but I tried channels 1 and 2, and they were both kind of raspy.
Interesting.
Yeah, but how does this one sound? It looks like it's a lot louder than maybe what I was during the show.
No, if anything, I'd say you might be a few dB quieter, actually.
Maybe going to you.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what the downstream sounds like.
But looking at the meter, I'm actually I'm hitting the peak limiter on the recorder is going off.
Okay. Maybe somebody in chat room there can let us know how Tony is sounding. Just trying to get a little bit of a radio check.
Hola. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3. It's about a -6 right there. I need to, let's see. Hello. Test. Hello. Am I on the right one? Hello, radio. Yeah?
I mean, you sound clear.
Test. Hello, radio. Hello, test. Oh, well, anyway. As long as I can hit a -6 and be around that area, that way I won't be so much louder than you. Anyway, I think that's got it right there.
All right. I'm probably at least good enough for the promo, and then maybe you can mess around with it between now and the next show. And that's really weird how just all of a sudden, I mean, it just fell out from underneath you.
Yeah, well, that's how the electronic stuff is, isn't it?
Yeah. Jensen says, sounds good and clear here, Tony. So whatever you've done, Paps Boys say it sounds way better. So, you've done something right over there.
It happens occasionally. Infinite number of monkeys.
Jensen said maybe bring the gain up just a little bit. I would agree with him. You are a little quieter than you were before, at least on my end. So it sounds like maybe on the streaming side, it's the same way.
Okie dokie. So let's see here. Oh, you know what?
I think your gate rate is set a little bit off because it sounds like that gate is not. It's taking a little while to close or it's taking a little while to open. You have a little bit of a fade in and a fade out on each sentence.
Okay. Well, I got it set the same way as the other one, so we'll just leave it there for right now, and we can mess with it after we wrap up. All right, so guys, thanks a lot. Josh and I are going to record our little promo, the thing that we stick onto the front of each show, and we really, and I don't want to talk for Josh. He may not be appreciative of you being here. I'll let him.
I am.
I
said so just a little while ago.
I'll let him talk for himself, and I won't put words in his mouth. And by the way, Josh, I just mentioned I wouldn't. It's your personal preference, of course, but I'm just thinking the words "we shared a cigar" may not be the way you want to say that.
Yeah, we shared a couple cigars.
I was going to ask you if
was there only one?
If you were that cheap that you guys were, here man, take a hit. Here man, take a hit.
No. And they were good cigars. Too. This wasn't 7-Eleven cigars.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
If you're into that sort of thing.
That's right. I just realized we need to contact Anonymous, which will be very difficult, and find out where the Josh subconsciouses have gone.
Yeah, because there's been all sorts of fodder that has been laid out.
He's not.
I'm really surprised we haven't gotten a couple because there's been some, and I've even put a couple out there intentionally, just for that because I knew that I knew. Oh, I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. Tammy put in Monica's cigar.
I don't think they were her cigars, though.
No. They were,
now that's a woman. Board. She shows up ready and brings the cigars.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. But anyway, I digress. So you guys have a great night. Thank you very much. And John, thank you for the Radio Comtech, which I had to pressure him on XJ Talk chat, asking where the hell my Radio Comtech segments are. And then we got one, because I think I had seen him put in something in chat that he was working on one a couple of weeks ago, one or two. So I had to light a fire into him. That was a good. I really liked the video that went along with that. Were you watching the? I don't know if you were watching the video while the show was going. I know there's like a 30-second delay for you, but that video that Tammy had was really good, very clear. Yeah, I especially liked the snow shots.
Oh yeah, no, I watched that at work today. I saw the notification pop up in Dropbox, and so curiosity got the best of me, and went ahead and checked that out. And I was, hey, this is good stuff. And at first I thought that I was having audio issues at work because there was no audio with that video, and I'm like, I'm plugging stuff, unplugging. I was like, something. And so I went and played something else. I was like, no, everything's working fine. But then I got it. I was like, this is just going to be in addition to the audio that she's already submitted. So
right. Yeah, a little something for the live audience and the YouTube audience. So
no, love that. Great stuff.
She spent a little time on putting that thing together today. So I really appreciate all the time and effort that really everybody puts into the show. It's wonderful for it to be where it is now, and especially where it came from. And I discourage you from going back and listening to episode 1 if you want to know how much it's changed.
Oh, that's such a good laugh, though. I'm sorry. Every now and again, I got to do it. Just a couple times a year, I go back and listen to some of those earlier episodes and not making fun or judging or anything like that.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's great. It's a great little comparison.
It's horrible. I'll just say, if you go back and listen to episode 1, keep in mind I was afraid my family was going to hear me and make fun of me for the next several hours afterwards. So
Tony was right up here on the microphone, and he was just just all up in your ear, just like this. And no, it was pretty good.
They're talking to the FM and going to play a few tunes, and yeah, baby. So anyway, did you hear the thing about the dynamite and the dynamite that I was talking about?
Yeah, and even I even did the dynamite in chat, so I had to throw that in there. At first I had no idea what you were talking about. Obviously, I got the reference, but I didn't know there was going to be a spot for that in his segment, and so I didn't really put two and two together until I heard the dynamite.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't put it in there, though, because he'll do funny things like that. Dynamite!
He might be a little bit young for that. So
Nick
I
at
don't
Night,
know.
Nick at Night.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that poor guy. Not John, Jimmy J.J. Walker.
J.J. Walker.
Dynamite is his catchphrase. Oh, gee. Anyway, so we really are going to wrap it up this time, and we even have a post-show graphic. That tells you that this isn't the real show, that this is the post-show. So anyway, you guys have a great night. We'll see you real soon next week, hopefully. What is it, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We don't get a frog strangler, and what was it? What's the other one? That's the water was so deep it was the wolf strangling the frogs. That's right. And by the way, thanks a lot for the voicemail, Jensen and Nikki G. If by chance you're watching the YouTube video, thank you for yours as always. Very funny, fat redneck. I'm going to use that one. You guys have a great night, and we will see you later.
See you guys.